Hi, Assalamualaikum. Me, Fazan, and few other with my friends Nurin, Emilia, and Fatana will be presenting about the Malaysian Agreement 1963. First of all, what is MA63? MA63 is a document signed by the parties United Kingdom, Great Britain, North Ireland, Federation of Malaya, North Borneo, Sarawak, and Singapore. According to Malaysian Agreement 93, signed by the United Kingdom and the Federation of Malaya and few others, they will enact legislation to relinquish sovereign control over Singapore, Sarawak, North Borneo. This was accomplished through the passage of Malaysia Act 1963, Clause 1, of which state that on Malaysia Day, Her Majesty's sovereignty and jurisdiction over the new state shall be terminated. Therefore, MA63 was enacted to ensure a safe and successful colonization process among all parties.
Basically, MA63 is a complex document that has so many components on it. It conceived an agreement of 4 pages that containing 11 related articles underneath it. Besides that, Sabah submitted 20 memorandum to the Intergovernmental Committee on 1962. The committee was formed in response of Suruhanjaya Cobalt recommendation to protect the right of Sabah and Sarawak people from being violated and threatened when they are joining Malaysia. Meanwhile, Sarawak agreed to the matter stated in the memorandum, which involved the interests and right of their people. There are 20 memorandum under MA63 agreement. The first point is religion. Islam is the official religion on Semenanjung, but it is exception for Sabah and Sarawak. Secondly, language. Malay is the official language on Semenanjung, but English will be used as the official language in Sabah and Sarawak. The third point is constitution. A new constitution for North Borneo is needed. 4. The head of federations of Borneo is not eligible to be elected as the Yang di-Pertuan Agong. The fifth point is name of federal. The name of federal is Malaysia, not Melayu Raya. The sixth point is immigrations. The entry to Sabah and Sarawak should also require the consent of the state government. And 7, right to withdraw. There is no right to withdraw from Malaysia. This means that Sabah and Sarawak cannot withdraw from Malaysia. Okay. The 8th point of the memorandum is Borneoization. Sabah and Sarawak have the right to appoint their local people into their civil service. 9. British officer. British officers at that time were encouraged to continue their service in the administrations until they cannot be replaced by qualified locals. 10. Citizenship. Sabah and Sarawak people are also Malaysian and they have the right to get their kewarganegaraan. Number 11 is financial. Sabah and Sarawak should have their own power to their own finance, development funds and taxes. The memorandum number 12 is Bumiputra privilege, as Borneo should enjoy the special privilege as are accorded to the Malays and Persekutuan Tanah Melayu. 13 is state government. The Menteri Besar Sabah and Sarawak should be appointed by an informal member of Badan Perundangan. And memorandum number 14 is Sabah and Sarawak transition period were given 7 years to reconcile the legislative power with the federal government. And memorandum number 15 is education. The education in Sabah and Sarawak should remain under their own state government. Memorandum number 16, protection to the Constitution, as no amendment to the Federal Constitution affecting Borneo can be made without the consent of the government of Sabah and Sarawak. 17. Representations in the Federal Parliament. The number of Menteri Parliament from Sabah and Sarawak must also take into account into the size of the state and the total population of Sabah and Sarawak. 18. Name of the head of state. is Yang di-Pertuan Negeri Sabah dan Yang di-Pertuan Negeri Sarawak. Name of state is Sabah. And the last memorandum is land, forest, local government and other. The federal land councils should not involve Sabah.
So moving on to the next topic, which is the current updates, current issues regarding the agreement of 63 that my friend already discussed before this, already talked about it before this. So I'll be highlighting a few issues that we found and we go into deeper one by one. So the first issue that we found, which is dissatisfaction. So the agreement of 1963, East Malaysia was under British rule, in which it was a colony. They entered the agreement under the understanding that they would be a free and independent nation with special right, but thoroughly disappointed at the reality of it all, in which they were given less power than the original agreement. So Sabah Sarawak don't like that they are not granted the same special right as they were promised, and are unsatisfied at the fact that their special status is slow being chipped on. The autonomy of East Malaysia, once looked forward to, has regressed to being colonized by the Malaysian federal government. The next issue is Sabah and Sarawak would not have entered Malaysia if not for British. So basically, in 1963, East Malaysia was reluctant to join the federation as they were seeking independence directly from the British in order to form their own country. But due to pressure from British and Malaya at that time, they were forced to enter into the federation. Many say that the reasoning behind the reluctance is because their culture different from West Malaysia, because East Malaysia have a lot of culture, whereas West Malaysia is a majority Malay with Islam. It's spearhead. This conflict of belief system was seen as something that could tear them apart. So moving on to the next issue, which is constitutional amendment. Also under the original agreement in 1963, West Malaysia had promised certain rights to East Malaysia, which have not been delivered under the constitution. A majority in East Malaysia just want a constitutional amendment in order to solidify their place with special rights as promised to them under the 63 agreement. But also there is a small group of nationalists who say that secession, which is the process of leaving the federation, is necessary in order to gain full freedom and complete autonomy. However, the issue of the Islamization of the region also angered the citizens of East Malaysia. Have always been a multiracial land in which all cultures were seen as an equal, as they share most of their belief, but the intrusion of those from outside cultures has caused some social disturbance within the states.
Next issue is about Project IC. Firstly, it was an alleged project by federal government to bring in foreign Muslim. The government action used as a way to keep UMNO in power in East Malaysia, which brought in many UMNO voters. It was also an effort to Islamize East Malaysia by bringing in many foreign Muslims. This was seen as an unfair move on behalf of East Malaysia and have caused dissatisfaction in Sabah Sarawak for not having the right to speak. The federal government has also been meddling in East Malaysian politics. It caused issue about one ruling family in Sarawak. People from one family in the region mostly held position of chief minister. Secondly, family were supporters of federal government. Next, the rule of the family, which spent more than 4 decades, has led to some major nepotism. Nepotism occurred as the family profited of Sarawak riches. Besides, although Malana family not directly in power today, the family still hold strong ties to the government of Sarawak till today. The last issue is about GE14. Pakatan Harapan has promised to restore East Malaysian status to voice the dissatisfaction of Sabah Sarawak because of their situation, which is considered had backward progress compared to state in Peninsula. Furthermore, East Malaysian revenue not going directly to the state itself, meaning that the people in Sabah Sarawak cannot enjoy their profit by themselves. Next, East Malaysian raised issue of claiming their state right as included in MA63. So according to one member of Sabah Social and Human Rights Activists, I think it's Datuk Patrick Sindu, other amendment act such as the issue of oil, gas and other natural resource need to be highlighted. So the newest update in July 23, 2019, Cabinet Special Committee meeting to review the implementation of Malaysia Agreement. 7 issues have been agreed upon. 14 issue will discuss further. So the 7 issue is number 1, timber and forest product export duty claim. Number 2, gas distribution and electricity and gas regulator powers. 3, implementation of federal and state work, labours, state power over health issue, Sipadan and Ligitan Island administration, and the last is agricultural issue and forestry. But the failure of amendment of the federal constitution by Pakatan Harapan in July 21, 2020 has disappointed the people of Sabah Sarawak. But the right of Sabah Sarawak included in MA63 will be discussed further till today.
So in conclusion, why MA63 is important? First thing, total control over Sabah and Sarawak immigration law by the state government. The next one is the Borneoization of the local civil service. And the third one will be Islam will be the official religion of the federation, but both Sabah and Sarawak have no official state religion and any other kind of religions. Third, the fourth one will be the protection of the special position and privilege of the indigenous persons. Lastly, called Sabah and Sarawak representation in the federal government is proportionate to its population.